EZRA MAM sacked by Broncos after horror car crash footage leaked. In the rain-lashed streets of Brisbane's inner west, where the city's pulse quickens under sodium lights and the distant hum of the river fades into night, one reckless turn behind the wheel nearly wrote the end to a story that had only just begun to soar. What if the footage that leaked wasn't just a moment of madness, but the spark that forced a young prodigy to confront the man he was meant to become, proving that true redemption isn't found in the spotlight, but in the quiet work of earning it back? It was October 18th, 2024, a humid evening that carried the weight of unspoken regrets. EZRA MAM, the 21-year-old 5'8", whose sleight of foot had lit up Suncorp Stadium just months earlier with a grand final try that etched his name into Broncos lore, was behind the wheel of his ute. License suspended for the third time, speeding tickets, a red light run, phone distractions piling up like unheeded warnings. He veered into oncoming traffic on a Barden road slick with recent showers. The collision was visceral, metal twisting against metal, an Uber with a mother and her 4-year-old daughter crumpling under the force. Minor injuries, thank the stars, whiplash, cuts, a child's frightened tears. But the dashcam footage, later leaked in fragments across social feeds, captured it all in merciless clarity. Ezra's vehicle careening, the sickening crunch, his dazed exit as sirens wailed closer. A roadside swab confirmed the unthinkable: cocaine in his system, a social slip from the night before that turned fatal in its carelessness. Please like, share, and subscribe for more Sport Talk content. The Broncos' headquarters at Red Hill became a fortress of hushed conversations that night. Club officials pored over the grainy clips, hearts heavy with the what-ifs. Ezra, still shaken, sat in a sterile meeting room under fluorescent glare, flanked by his manager and a father whose Indigenous pride in his son's rise now mingled with quiet devastation. "I knew I'd let them down," he would later confess, voice barely above a whisper, "but I didn't know if they'd let me back up." By dawn, the world knew. Police charges loomed, driving unlicensed drugs and blood, and the NRL's integrity unit circled like hawks. Whispers of termination rippled through the club, a $4 million contract, barely inked after his 2023 breakout, now hanging by a thread. Teammates like Adam Reynolds texted silent support, but the air in the gym that week was thick with unspoken questions. Could the kid who danced past defenders like ghosts rebuild trust when he'd endangered lives? The turning point came not in court, but in the shadows of rehabilitation. 4 weeks at the Banyans, a secluded haven amid the hinterland's green folds, where Ezra traded stadium roars for the rhythm of group circles and the raw honesty of shared stories. He emerged changed, eyes clearer, resolve forged in the fire of accountability. Back at Red Hill, he knelt before the victims in a private mediation, 2 months delayed by legal webs, offering not excuses, but amends. "I see your faces in my dreams. I'm so sorry for the fear I put there." The mother's words, delivered through tears, cut deepest. "You were lucky, Ezra. We were too. But luck isn't enough. Be better for the little ones watching." In that room, with sunlight slanting through blinds like hesitant forgiveness, Ezra nodded, hands clasped, the weight of her 4-year-old's drawing, a simple son with a Broncos jersey, burning in his pocket. It wasn't absolution, but it was the first step off the precipice. News of the leaked footage hit like a second crash. Viral clips, stripped of context, painted him as reckless royalty, headlines screaming horror smash, forums erupting in outrage. SACKED MAM trended from Cairns to Canberra, fans who'd cheered his origin magic now baying for blood. Yet amid the storm, quieter voices rose. Indigenous elders from Cherbourg, his ancestral ground, sharing stories of falls and rises. Young fans in Brisbane suburbs posting drawings of him rising from wreckage, ball in hand. The NRL's hammer fell measured, 9 matches suspended, $120,000 fined, mandatory programs for well-being and safer driving. The Broncos layered on $90,000 more, but no sacking, no tear-up of the deal that bound him to 2029. Why? Coach Michael Maguire, eyes steady in the presser, revealed the thread: his family's fire. "I saw the good in him because they see it every day." That's what saved him, not talent, but the will to fight for it. Social media's fury softened into fractals of reflection. Threads wove his story into rugby league's scarred tapestry. from the coalface origins where second chances were survival to modern reckonings with mental health and cultural pressures on young black stars. In remote Queensland towns, where footy fields double as lifelines, kids who'd idolized his goose step now debated not punishment, but potential. The footage, once a weapon, became a warning etched in pixels. By March 2025, Ezra fronted the media scrum outside Broncos HQ, the leaked video still fresh in collective memory. "I feared the end," he admitted, voice steady under the weight of flashing cameras. "Thought I'd lost the jersey, the trust, everything." But gratitude laced his words, for the club that chose belief over banishment, for victims who'd granted space to heal. Fans outside, a mix of jeers and jerseys, fell silent as he vowed, "I'll earn every minute on that field. Not for me, for them." The ripple spread deeper still. Partnerships bloomed, Ezra volunteering at RSPCA shelters, coaching juniors in Barden, the very suburbs scarred by his error. Letters arrived from the Uber family, not of lingering hate, but of guarded hope. "Drive straight now, for all of us." In those exchanges, the cultural heartbeat of the game pulsed. Rugby league as mirror to Australia's unfinished soul, where Indigenous youth navigate spotlights rigged with traps. What this moment unveils about us all is the chasm between fall and fracture. Ezra's crash wasn't just a headline. It was a reckoning for a sport that lionizes its gladiators while whispering of their hidden wars. Pressure's quiet erosion, the lure of escape in a world that demands perfection from the unbroken. It speaks to sportsmanship not as clean tackles, but as the grit to rise when you've bloodied the innocent. In Ezra, we see character not innate, but nurtured. The values of family pulling him from the wreckage, the humility to own a stupid choice that could have stolen futures. Reflection lingers on legacy's long shadow. Rugby league thrives on redemption arcs, the prodigal sons who return wiser, fiercer. Ezra's isn't polished, it's raw, marked by court fines, $850, 6-month ban, and the ongoing counsel that stitches wounds unseen. Yet in earning his round 10 recall, pairing with Reynolds like a prodigy reborn, he embodies the game's true ethic: forgiveness earned, one honest yard at a time. Months on, at a quiet clinic in Cherbourg, Ezra knelt amid wide-eyed kids kicking battered balls on red dirt. "I crashed hard once," he told them, voice low as the afternoon heat. "Not just the car, the trust. But you get up, fix what you broke, and run cleaner. That's the real try." He paused, tracing a spiral in the dust, eyes distant with the footage's ghosts. "The leaked clips? They don't define me. What I do next does. For you lot, for the mum and kid I scared, hell, for the boy I was before I knew better." In private journals shared with his well-being coach, Ezra penned the raw edges. "Woke up every night seeing that Uber's lights. Thought I'd lost my path. But Mum said, 'Paths bend, son. They don't break.' Now I bend toward light, grateful for the hands that pulled me straight." Humility in every line, growth in the grip of a pen that once signed glory but now charts grace. Perspective sharpened. Talent gets you in the door. Heart keeps you in the game. Mine almost cost everything. Won't let it again. As the 2025 season unfolds, Ezra's story isn't closure but continuum. A bench cameo in the grand final, pointing skyward, not in conquest, but quiet thanks. The Broncos, scarred but stronger, field a halves pairing tempered by trial. This isn't erasure of the horror, it's alchemy, turning leaked shame into a blueprint for the next generation.